What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Crew Excellence member, Justin Strickland, and I'm back with another wonderful podcast for you today. I got a real gem for you today. I got somebody with me. You see, I'm not alone, so you're in for a treat. Make sure you get your notebooks out, your pen and pad. It's going to be an amazing time today. If you're new here, this is the Ladder Podcast. It's a podcast all about leadership. We tackle it from a lot of different angles, and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to become the best leader that you could possibly be. But before we get into that too much, make sure you like and share and subscribe for more leadership content. And I want to introduce my dope guest I got with me today. I got Tim Jones from Jones & Home Real Estate. He's here to grace us with his presence and with his knowledge and his wisdom. And I'm super excited to hear what he has to say and for you to learn from this man. And so, Tim, I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. Give me 3 things that people should know about you before we get into this episode.
All right, I'm Tim Jones in Kansas City, Kansas, and we have the youngest brokerage in Kansas or Missouri ever.
I love to hear it.
That's one thing about us.
That's
and we
dope.
like to help our community gain generational wealth through real estate. And so we love to help with the rental portion, with the investment portion for the newer guys, and then for obviously retail for your families and help you buy homes.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope. So we got to jump right into that. Youngest brokerage in Kansas and Missouri history.
Yeah.
How did you get there? Tell me about your story. How did you get started, and how did you end up where you are now?
Yeah, about 6 years ago when I was 23, I bought my first home.
Okay.
And man, I bought that thing. It was the first house I ever saw. I went with a realtor that I saw online on Zillow, clicked them, said, boom, okay. He was saying, hey, yep, we'll go to the house 3 o'clock. Went to the house at 3 o'clock. He opened the door. As soon as I saw inside, it was a 3-bed, 1-bath, 820 square foot house.
Yeah.
I knew it was in a decent area, and I trusted my senses. Bought the house that day.
So you just knew. And so at 23, because that you got to rewind, because you were already ahead of the race at 23, thinking about buying a house.
Yeah.
So what made you be like, all right, this is where I need to go. This is what I need to do.
Yeah. You know what? I knew that I could appreciate.
Okay.
Right? I could appreciate the value of the home. And then when I looked at the appreciation rates at like 7 to 8% in Kansas City, they were keeping up or going past the inflation rates of about 5%.
Yeah.
And so I realized, okay, I can make at least 2% gain on my money.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not smart with the 401ks, that math was making sense. That math was mathing.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Right,
As you were saying,
right,
I was like, that makes some sense. And so there is a journey from owning one home to being the youngest brokerage.
Yeah.
So if you could just walk us through kind of where you bought your first house and you were like, hey, this is something that, because were you already in real estate when you bought this home?
No, I wasn't in real estate.
Okay.
You know, another reason I got to be honest was because I moved into my car when I was about 18.
Okay.
I lived in my car basically because I wanted to. I had too many strict rules at home and just said, hey, you know what? I'm just going to live in my 88 Crown Vic.
Okay.
So I was living in that, and the house, seemed like a better option. It was more viable than, going out and
than the whip. Got you.
Right.
And you was like, if I'm going to spend some money on rent,
exactly.
I might as well have a mortgage.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And so mortgage was, $500 and something dollars. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting that. That's easy.
Yeah, I can do that.
So you can't get those type of deals anymore.
I'm going to say, where are them houses on the website?
I
need the $550 a month trends on the website. I ain't seen none of them. All right.
No, they don't have those anymore.
If they pop up, I need you to let me know. If one slip through the crack.
Yeah, they don't have that anymore, man.
Okay.
They don't have that anymore. So then when I was 23, I said, you know what? There's not a lot of brokers. There's not a lot of business real estate people that look like me.
Got you.
Okay. And so when I looked around, I'm just like, okay, nobody else is doing this for our community. And there's not too many people that are our age in their young 30s, late 20s.
Yeah.
That know anything about real estate. And so the whole aspiration was, hey, let's go ahead and help serve people, and get them to at least know about how real estate works.
Yeah.
And at least, hey, you can get a home with having zero money. You just got to work on your credit a little bit.
Yeah.
And that just means not going out and buying the flyest car, when you're 21, or buying the hottest thing on clothes. It's really about that long-term wealth and saying, hey, if I could hold it out for 5 years with this home, I could maybe make 65 bands. Let's go ahead and buy a Benz or whatever you want to do.
No, for real though.
But at that point, I think you would have already realized that, hey, you know what? I could invest in assets.
Yeah.
After that 5 years, it's going to show you some experience of learning wealth.
Yeah.
Just through your own.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And so I think what's obvious to me is like, is you have a natural leadership about you, right?
Thank you.
For you to be young, be 23, because I know at 23, I was still playing professional basketball, and I was like, yo, I don't want to have an apartment. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to go to Spain, come back. I'm trying to go to Australia. I was not thinking about building anything kind of permanent that's going to appreciate anything. I wasn't thinking about those kind of things at the time. And so when did you learn, like, I'm a leader? Like, when did that click for you? Do you remember how old you were? Do you remember the situation? Was it on a team? Was it in a school? Was it at home? Like, when did you think, like, I'm a leader and people follow me?
Having a younger brother that you love.
Yeah.
I have a younger brother, and really proud of what he's doing in kinesiology, studying for he's doing the human bodies.
Yeah.
And human body studies.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, he was always my kind of inspiration to be even better.
Gotcha.
Because I always saw him as, hey, he's looking for me. He's 2 years, 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So he's always looking at me.
100%. He clocking you.
That's every time. And so I couldn't let him see me be at my worst. So I was always at my best.
Gotcha.
And through that love, I think it pushed us closer and me more near my goals.
That's dope. That's super dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope. And so who inspires you as far as like, all right, I can build generational wealth. I can make changes. Like, who was the person that you was like, oh, I see what you're doing. That means I can do that too.
Yeah. So my dad, we're from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So
From the Northeast?
OH.
You in the wrong place, buddy.
Oh, okay.
You in the wrong place, buddy. You in the wrong place, buddy. We don't do that around here,
You
man.
left me hanging, Nate.
Man,
You left me
we don't
hanging,
do that
man.
around. If you
You
ain't
left
rock
me
chalking, you ain't gonna get nothing back, baby. That's just what it is over here, man.
Okay, I forgot the question now.
Who you talking about? Who inspires you? Who inspired you?
So when I was younger, we're from Columbus, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad, he went to this first church in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And so he met what is now my uncle, which is Don Payne in Columbus, Ohio. They're like the top 50 brokers. So shout out Vision Realty.
Okay.
And so he's been doing it for 45 plus years.
Got you.
And then even closer connection to him, he referred me to his son, which is now my cousin,
Okay.
Don Payne Jr. So he's been doing it for about 13 years now.
Got you.
And
Got you.
they both were a huge inspiration to my stability in real estate and to just my mentality in real estate and what I wanted to look like.
Got you.
Because they own a brokerage up there. And like I said, it's right on Ohio State University campus.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's huge.
Wow.
It's and that's the inspiration.
And they look like us.
Yeah, look like us. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so, for a lot of people, what I've discovered in this leadership journey is a lot of people will have a vision.
Yeah.
They'll be able to see themselves doing it. They'll be able to see others doing it.
Oh yeah.
But they struggle in doing it themselves.
Right.
And so, what moved you from I own one house? No, what moved you from I'm in a car to I own one house to now I'm the youngest brokerage in Kansas history?
Man, what moved me to do that?
Yeah, like what pushed you into, hey, this is not just me owning one, because you owned a house, but you were still working. You weren't doing real estate.
Sure.
So what pushed you from like I own one house to this is what I do?
Man, that's a good question. I hope they can cut out my.
Oh no, we live, we raw, baby. You good?
Okay,
you good?
okay.
You good?
Oh, we're live. Okay, so
you good?
I think the biggest thing for me was making myself uncomfortable.
Got you.
Which means that this was an 820 square foot house that I owned.
Mm-hmm.
Very small.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I took the room that only fit my queen size bed.
Yeah.
So you had to open up to the crack of the door.
Come on now.
About 4 or 5 inches for you to slide on in. For you to slide on in.
Yeah.
And it had a little closet where I had trash bags of all my extra clothes.
Come on now.
Right? And so for me, I was renting out, like I told you, those other two units for $500 a piece. So I was making $500, but I didn't want to put myself in. I didn't want to live there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I slept about 5 hours there, and then I would just work 45 hours on one job and 45 hours on another. This is before I got into real estate. And so because what I was doing was kind of testing myself. Yeah. Kind of resilient testing myself.
Gotcha.
Like how deep can you go? We all know how much we can drink. We all know how much we can smoke. We all know how much we can go out and spend. But we know how much effort we can put in to our craft. Yeah. And can we get to that point where we're overflowing and over drunk with work? Yeah. Can you do that for a consistent period of time? And I knew if I could put myself towards that through that resilience, then the sky was the limit. Gotcha. And so that's basically, really how it was done, and then also just receiving the mentorship, asking questions. But through that 45 hours that I was working at each job before I got into real estate, I was reading real estate books. So I read 50 books within 2 years about real estate, and I was just studying. Anytime I get to the library, anytime I could pick up a book, I was reading it. Yeah. And I was just trying to dive into what the heck am I doing? Yeah. Because I don't know anything about real estate at this point, except my uncle does it. Right. And so now I'm like, okay, let me dive in so I can ask him more challenging questions than what does earnest money deposit? Yeah. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I can now ask him a challenging or more thorough question than some basic, question. And so that's what really constructed me to say, okay, we're going to go to the next level. And as I kept learning, as I kept reading, I kept earning. Gotcha. And so I think we always say learning is earning. You always got to learn before you earn. So there may be a time period where I wasn't making a lot of money. Yeah. But, and so then when got to Remax, which is in Olathe, and so I was out there and, shout out Remax Beyond in Olathe. I was out there and I was I was selling houses, but actually the first 6 months I didn't sell a single house. I got in there, I stopped my other job, I built up 6 months of reserves because I think it's really important in any business that you guys get into to build up the 6 months of reserve money. And so I went in there, I started, learning what real estate was and how to sell because the classes don't teach you much. No. Okay. And so I learned from the best. And for 6 months, I didn't sell anything. I was working 90 hours a week. And because I built up that money, I quit my other 2 jobs. Yeah. And I said, I'm going real estate full time. Right. This was like 2019. Okay. And so go in there, man. And then COVID hits.
I was about to say 2019. That's right around the corner. Right.
So 2019 drops and COVID hits. Everybody's kind of like stuffed. They're like masks, no door knocking, no talking to people in person, no being a real estate agent because that's basically what you do. Yeah. Right? Because that's what we do. So I don't know what my time's looking like.
No, you good. I got you.
But basically when I got in there, at that 7th month, I sold a deal. And then the 8th month, I sold 2 deals. 9th month, I sold 3 deals. 10th month, I sold, and it just kept on kind of almost double every month, right? The snowball. So at that point, I got another mentor that was in the office, and I told her, hey, you know what?
This is where I'm going.
This is where I'm going. I want to join your team. If you could tell me, show me the boundary lines. Show me the tools. Give me the tools. Yeah. And I will make you a lot of money. And so we divvied it up, broke some bread, and she said, I would love to mentor you. And she taught me the boundary lines and where the hoop is, which way we're going on the court. Yeah. And as soon as I knew that, she just let the player release. Gotcha. So it was good at that point. And and so then when I got on her team, we just kept building and growing in our knowledge, kept helping people. That second year, the first year of real estate, I sold a small amount. The second year of real estate, I sold almost like 38 units. And so that was the number. That was the
That's
number
a
one.
lot, yeah.
That was the number one in the office.
Yeah.
So I was number one in Remax.
Got you.
My second year of real
Got you.
estate. Yeah, and that was just because I was just getting to. I was
I was grinding.
I didn't do nothing else.
Yeah.
There was real estate, and there was barely
and sleep.
Barely sleep, but yeah,
got you.
Yeah,
got
So
you.
just eating like eggs. I brought eggs to the office. They had a little stove there. Thank God. I would just heat up the eggs, and I'm gone.
Yeah, time to go.
Yeah, that was all I was eating.
Yeah,
so
let's go get it.
Yeah, so just kept doing that concept, man, over and over again. So every 6 months, I'd live in the house. About I'd say about maybe 6 months to a year. I would buy a home. Just like the 820 square foot one. And then I would rent it out with 2 roommates. And then I'd have them on the lease for a year. So then at 6 months, I'd cut out, buy another house, do the same thing. Buy another house, do the same thing, repeat. Now it's 6 years later.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm so quantum leaps past where I was that I was just saying, well, it wasn't like a super hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't super smart to do it.
Yeah.
Right. It was just like it took a little bit of pain. Right. And that pain made pleasure later on.
Yeah.
I just knew that it was going to take that. So it was just faith is just seeing something that's not there.
Come on now. Yeah.
And that's when I became a leader. I think just learning that it's going to take pain and it's going to take serving other people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what it was when these guys were in the biggest rooms of my houses. And one time I just built a little corner room downstairs in this little, what you would call a rec room.
Yeah.
Right by the water heater.
Yeah.
And the furnace was my room in that room. And I just built I boarded it up with some drywall. And I was like, hey, this is my room.
Yeah. Yeah.
and just renting that out. So through that and through real estate knowledge, just learning more through selling and learning more through really understanding each and every client that walks through.
Yeah.
Because in our community, because I come from a minority, that minority acts like me. Sometimes we don't like to read more on real estate, or get out of our realm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or be up at this podcast at 7 a.m.
Come on, man. Come on now. Shout out to Nate.
Shout out to Nate. But yeah, man, I knew that once I could be number one in Remax, or
I can do it here. I can do it for myself.
And I can do it anywhere, right? Yeah. And so I got that push from my mentor.
Yeah, it's time. Go get it.
It was time to go get it, man. And shout out Taffy from the block. She helped mentor me too. I was on her team. Yeah, man. And that's really what led me to get this brokerage started and actually buy the building. So I bought the commercial building because I really preach ownership, but I can't preach it thoroughly enough.
If my business is written,
right. So
I'm gonna tell y'all to go get it.
That's it. So since 23, I've never rented anything in my life.
Wow.
Just put in the grind, and it started with $0. I got on a 3% down program.
Wow.
I paid like $2,000 out of pocket.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Wow.
And then some closing costs or whatever for that first house. So it's like there's programs out there for you. Just get your credit right.
Yeah.
Have your job history at 2 years, and go to jonesandhomes.com.
Come on now. Hey, link in the description. Link in the description. It's gonna be out there. Hey man, that story is amazing. I heard 3 things that I want to make sure my audience heard and that they are able to take and apply. First thing I heard is I was willing to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, sure.
And I think for most of us, we get to a place where we are actually doing the opposite. We're trying to become comfortable.
That's it.
And so everything in our life is about making us more comfortable.
Right.
In the now.
Yeah.
And you were like, I was willing to become uncomfortable in the now because I want to be comfortable later.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing I heard, which I think everybody can apply today. Even myself, I heard that. I was like, all right, there's some things I can do today that I've been avoiding because they're not comfortable.
Right.
But there are some things I can do today that are
just like
what for my future that I need to knock out.
Yeah.
The second thing I heard was I outworked people, which I think is not glamorous. I think that with the internet, with social media, we are constantly trying to figure ways out of working.
Right.
I was just talking to my sister-in-law yesterday, and she's a supervisor, and she was just talking about how little her employees want to actually work.
Wow.
And she was saying, like, they sign up to do the job.
Yeah.
They come to work every day. They late. They're not in uniform. They get upset when she corrects them and tells them what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it was just the idea that, like, you have a job, but you still don't want to work. And I think that's fairly normal. I've been around a lot of different people.
Sure.
In a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
And I think it's fairly normal for people to say yes to working, to go to interviews, and then get the job and be like, bro, I don't want to go to work, bro.
Yeah, right,
like,
right.
Why you work here?
Yeah.
Why'd you say yes to a job? And so the second thing I heard was, hey, I worked people.
Yeah.
2 years after I got into real estate, I was number one at REMAX.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was smart. It wasn't because I had a secret formula. It's because I was working 90 hours a week and eating eggs for breakfast.
That's it.
At the office.
That's it.
Right? And so that people don't like it because it's not glamorous.
Right.
But man, it's rinse and repeat.
That's it.
Like if you read, I read. I do a lot of reading. My wife does a lot of reading.
Yeah.
I love podcasts.
Yeah.
If you didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of my favorite ones is Secrets to Success with Eric Thomas.
Okay. I love that.
And there's a guy on there, the 9 to 5 millionaire. And he talks about that all the time. Like he was a police officer, and he was like, on my break,
I listened to it.
The other officers were sleeping.
Yeah.
I was gonna look at the houses.
Yeah.
And it's just the ideal that I was maximizing my time.
That's it.
Because I had a goal in mind.
That's it.
And then the last thing I heard was belief.
Yeah.
And there was a vision. There were some people around you that you saw, that you asked to pour into you, that you asked to mentor you. And actually on a previous one of my episodes, one of my guests, that's what she said. She was like, people want to mentor you, but they don't want you to waste their time.
That's it.
And so I heard you was like, man, I got around the right people, but then I believed.
Right.
And they believed in me too.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. A lot of times when you're doing something new, you might believe, but it just means so much more. Somebody else who already doing it being like, hey, you can do that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, for real? Oh, I thought so.
Right.
And now I know.
Right.
Oh, I'm running through the brick wall.
That's it.
I'm running through the brick wall.
That's it.
And so those are the three things that I heard you say that I think were amazing.
Man, thank you.
And I'm glad that you shared that today. I got a couple more questions for you. Then I'm going to get you out of here, all right?
No, you're all good.
You got a chance to shadow any leader in history for 24 hours. You get 24 hours with any leader, anybody in history. Who are you shadowing? Who are you spending this day with, and why? I love this question because I want to know. You got to think deep. Who anybody in history? Who you spending your day with, and why?
Probably the great Carthaginian warrior general.
Okay.
Hannibal Barca.
Okay. Okay.
You
got to tell the people a little bit about Hannibal Barca. They might be outside my audience purview.
Yeah. Okay. He's like 225 BC.
Okay.
And so he was a great war general, actually the first to ride in on an elephant.
Okay.
In battle.
Oh yeah, he was lit.
Yeah, man.
He was lit.
Yeah. And so, being from Carthage, he probably would have had olive skin like mine and yours, right? Yeah. And he basically led his army to own what is now modern day Spain.
Gotcha.
And around that area, those parts.
Yeah.
And he was fighting the remnants of what Alexander the Great left over. And so Scipio, you read these or you saw these gladiator movies.
Yeah.
That's sort of in the same era.
Yeah.
As where he would have ruled.
Gotcha.
And I think he is just we use some of his military tactics today.
That's cool.
And what we do in our U.S. war.
Wow. That's cool.
And so and our U.S. fights, military. So I think some of his tactical intricacies was something that I could follow, and some sort of leadership that he had, even to his country, and to lead it into battle from the front. Yeah. He was leading the battle.
Yeah, he went in the back sending people to let's go get it. I'm
right. And back then it was a much more gruesome time.
100%, yeah.
And I think it would have been good to kind of feel that kind of grit, because that's a little different type of grit.
Oh yeah.
He also spoke like 3 different languages, and we can only speak one now. We talk about we're a technology generation, or an intelligent generation, and most of us in America only speak one language.
Yeah.
Okay, and they spoke 3,
easily.
Right. And they're, so we think of them, back then and say, oh, they weren't doing this or they didn't have modern technology. But actually, they were super brilliant with what they did have.
Yeah.
Because they were innately focused.
Yep.
And to see his innate
they weren't
focus.
distracted. Yeah.
Right. So he one time led his group, I think it was about 25,000 or so.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on the numbers.
Yeah, okay,
but I know
you good.
I know about 75% of his army was wiped out after walking over the Alps mountains.
Yeah.
So he went to the Alps mountains where he encountered different warriors, and then when he was going down, most of his army died. He was left with like one elephant out of the 35 he brought almost.
Wow.
And so I think just going through that amount of hardship and pain and pressure and knowing that nobody else is expecting you to win is a testament to true potential and to true purpose.
Yeah.
So
no, that's dope. That's super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I like asking that question too.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like everybody got a secret leader that ain't nobody heard about yet.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I think some people go look him up. Hannibal Barca, right?
Barca. Yeah.
Barca. Hannibal Barca.
Barca.
Hannibal Barca. Yeah. Go look him up.
Yeah.
He sounds dope. He sounds like he should have a movie name. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
sounds like he should have a movie.
He's cold.
He sounds dope.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna wrap it up. I want to be respectful of your time.
Thank you.
If there was one thing that you could tell people, so I got people watching, they want to be leaders, they want to do stuff that's like the first ever, kind of like yourself.
Sure,
they want to make waves, they want to change their family's history forever.
Sure.
What's one thing that you would tell them to do that could make that happen?
It sounds simple, but
we like simple.
Yeah,
just like simple.
Just write down the 10 things that you like to do, and actually X out the things that you like the least. Only keep 3 of them.
Okay.
And then circle the one that you like the best, and then read 50 books on it in 2 years.
I love that. Repeat that one more time. I love that. That's simple, but that's impactful. Tell them one more time.
Yeah. So you have a list of 10 things that you like to do.
Yep.
And then you're going to cross out the things that you least like. So 7 things.
Yep.
You're going to only keep 3 things there. And then you're going to circle the one that you like the most.
Got you.
Okay. And then that's what you're going to read your 50 books on. The other 2 that you have on there that you like, you can use those as fulfillment seekers. Those are your fulfillment seekers.
Yeah.
That's something that you listen to, or you do on the weekend, or you do it, part time.
Yeah.
Right. For me, that's poetry.
Okay.
Those 2 for me look like poetry and entertainment.
Okay.
So those are my 2 things.
Yeah.
But the main thing for me was real estate.
Got you.
So if that's just my example.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
Yeah. It's super simple. But read 50 books on it in 2 years.
Yeah.
So 25 a year. And I know everybody can do it.
Yeah, everybody can do it.
Everybody can do it.
You have the time.
You got time. You're not doing it.
So what that breaks down to, the math is about a book every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Give or take a couple weeks.
Yeah.
About a book every 2 weeks.
Yep. That's it.
If you're spending time on TikTok, Instagram, Netflix, you can read a book in 2 weeks.
And I will say this, man, just read 25 pages a day.
That's it. And even with audiobooks.
Yeah.
Audiobooks change the game.
Yeah.
Because you can hop in the whip and listen to an audiobook.
That's it.
That's one thing I do. I love listening to audiobooks while I drive.
That's it.
You can get through audiobooks in a week.
Yeah, man. Just kind of. Even if you want to just read 20 pages a day,
50 books in 2 years about what you love, what matters the most to you.
Yeah, and just if you really are dedicated to it, and then you'll see if you're a leader through that, or you're a chump.
100%.
You're just a leader. You're a chump.
If you're like, I can't read.
Yeah, you're just a chump.
This probably ain't for you.
Yeah, it's just you're a chump. So
I love that. You a chump.
You
a chump. I love that. That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's just what it is, because that'll tell you though if you're a chump.
Yeah.
And nobody else has to know that.
No. It's just this is
between
personal.
You and yourself.
You in the mirror.
Right.
Because if you're a chump, stop acting like you're not.
That's it.
And that's okay.
That's right. Be a chump and work wherever you want.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Because,
but stop acting like you want something else.
Yeah, because you know the truth.
Because you know you don't. Hey, we ain't talking about nothing else. This is the ladder, man. Hey, I know this episode was fire. I can't wait for you to find out. I will have Tim Jones' socials, his website, all of that will be linked in the description. And man, I hope you had your notepad out because it was some dope stuff said today. As always, share with somebody, like and subscribe, and I cannot wait to get with you next week, man. It's the host of The Ladder, Justin Strickland, with my guest Tim Jones, and we out, man. Peace. Crew Excellence, another great episode. I'm so honored to be leading the journey you're on, and I just want to let you know, this is what we're building here. We're building a community and an audience and a family that pursues excellence together. And if you want to be part of that family, right, this content is free. You can keep coming over here every Friday, catching a podcast, but we have so much more. First of all, if you join Crew Excellence, you get the podcast on Thursday. Yup, 24 hours early. Second thing, you get part of our private group where we talk about leadership every single day. You get Motivation Monday. You get discounts on merch. Okay. And anytime we have an event, you get first dibs on tickets. So I think that being a part of this community is amazing. There's definitely different levels to it. But hey, if you just watching and you say that ain't for me yet, cool. I appreciate you. Keep watching. Like, comment, subscribe. But if you want to go deeper and you want to be more of a part of a community that loves each other and that pushes each other to be their best self, go ahead, head over to the website, join Crew Excellence. It's a membership site on the site. You can join it and then you get entered right into the community, plugged in. Hey, it's dope over there. I'm talking about fire. You missing out. But hey, I love y'all for whatever you do and however you are a part of Crew Excellence. And I can't wait till next week. Please watch another video. If you missed the episode, tune in because they all fire. All right, man. It's the host who's the most, your favorite Crew Excellence member, and I'm out. Peace.